more with good health, with length of days and years, so that you'll be around for a long time to come, handing over the great knowledge that God has given to him, unlocking the keys to our civilization, Igbo civilization, enabling all of us to do a little better than we now do, enabling us to bond together as a group, enabling us to carry this civilization to the outer world. We pray that today, especially the presentation of a book in his honor, will be a watershed event for all of us to continue to carry on this work of debriefing that is so crucial to the preservation of our civilization and the things, the network that makes it tick. So we pray that the good Lord makes today's event something that will make all of us happy, something that will be memorable for many, many years to come, something that we're going to look back to and be happy that we're all part of it. And we pray that more people like Prof Chidi Osuagwu will spring up from our midst to carry on the flag and keep the light burning. This is a prayer through Christ our Lord.
Amen.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much, Father. Thank you so very much. I think I remember as I last saw you at the Wellam Institution. Dozier, please, can you go ahead and give us a traditional prayer also?
Ndị Igbo mma mmanụ, ndị Igbo birikwe, ndị Igbo rie, ndị Igbo ṅụọ ọnụ, ndị Igbo mụọ ọnụ, Igbo zụọ ọnụ. Asị onye nna ya na-enweghị n'ọgbakọ Igbo. Asị m kpee ekpere nga Prọfesọ Chidi Osuagwu na ya, mana agara m n'isi Prọfesọ Chidi Osuagwu, Chukwu okike abịa ma anyị na-arị ogologo ndụ n'isi Prọfesọ Chidi Osuagwu. Anyị na-arị ogologo ndụ ndị anyị niile ka anyị gbakọrọ ịbịa lee onye na-apụta anyị anyị ji na mba ụwa niile, si Chineke nna bịa gọziere anyị, nye ogologo ndụ, nye ahụ isi ike, ka ọ nọkwuoro anyị ka nka, dịrị anyị ezigbo ndụ, nye nwee ike ka anyị nwee ike inwetacha ihe niile anyị nwere ike inweta n'aka ya ma anyị na ya nọ. Amamihe miri emi Chineke ji gọzie ya, ka o nwee ike inyefe ya n'aka ndị ụmụ okorobịa na ụmụ agbọghọbịa ndị na-esote ya n'azụ, ka e nwee ike iji agawa. Ọwụ ọdịmma mma, ọwụ ihe Prọfesọ Chidi Osuagwu chọrọ n'obi ya wụ maka ọdịmma mma ụwa niile. Ọ chọghị arụrụ ala, ọ chọghị mmegbu. Ekekere ụwa, anyị sị biko onye bịara anyị jiri arụrụ ala bịa wefuru anyị ya. Ndị jikweni obi ọcha na ọganihu na ịdị n'otu na ọdịmma mma ndị ụwa bịa gọzie ha, gọziere anyị emume nke anyị na-eme taa, gọziere anyị ncheta ọmụmụ ụbọchị ọmụmụ Prọfesọ Chidi Osuagwu, gọzie akwụkwọ nke a chọrọ iwefụtara ndị ụwa nke Prọfesọ Chidi Osuagwu dere ka ụwa hụrụ, gọzie ndị ga-agụ ya, mee ka akwụkwọ a gazuo ụwa niile ọnụ, ka anyị mechaa nke taa, ka anyị nwee ike ịlakwa na-enweghị nsogbu ọbụla ebe ọbụla anyị siri bịa. ka omume nke taa nwee ike inwe ihe bara uru o nyere na ndụ anyị. Anyị si ọ ga-adịrị anyị mma na Eke, ọ ga-adịrị anyị mma na Orie, ọ ga-adịrị anyị mma na Afọ, ọ ga-adịrị anyị mma na Nkwọ.
Ise Imena Mazi Dozie Ndewo. Thank you so very much. And we'll quickly go to the next. What we have on our agenda basically is the opening prayers were said, opening remark by the moderator, and then followed by felicitations by each and every one of us, as much as time will permit, to say hello and greet our celebrants. By the way, we all know that what we're celebrating today is the 75th birthday of this icon, this great son of Igbo land. I don't have much to say. I'm also supposed to talk a bit about like his biography, but I know that every person I've seen here throughout the entire list we have here so far, and those who are there at the home of our celebrants, we all know him, and practically many of us even know him as far better than me. But a synopsis of what I'll just say is that this is a man, Chidi Osuagwu, that first hits you on a first encounter, completely unassuming. A research scientist celebrated world over. In fact, his lecture series, I still remember, in the 90s in South Africa, through spanners into what the world originally considered African and Igbo worldview. He completely, through those lecture series, changed the equations. A man whom the world-renowned Smithsonian Institute, Washington, D.C., had documented most of his thesis on Igbo cosmology. A man whom the United States-based International Philosophical Association, the Philosopedia, rated as a world-class thinker. Imagine about 8 billion of us in this universe, and only about 200 have ever been classified in these contemporary times as world-class thinkers. And we are sitting physically and virtually with one of them, and that is Professor Chidi Osuagwu, a quintessential Igbo man who flaunts the fact that he came from a long line of Dibia, the traditional African intellectuals and elites and healers, whose duty it is to heal the society. You will agree that this man, in the last 75 years of his life, right from birth, has been on this quest of healing our society. Our celebrant today, Chidi Osuagwu, he is our son, he is our brother, he is our father, a grandfather, a healer, an intellectual par excellence, a philosopher, philanthropist, mentor, and of course, an iconoclast. And as earlier mentioned, a great Dibia. This is the man God has given us the providence to sit with today, physically at his home and virtually from world over to celebrate. And of course, it's from Obo, from the great Ehume clan of village or community of the Obo clan. And without wasting much of our time, as I said, practically all of us know him as much as, I do, even better than I do. Time will also come in the very near future when we are going to do a major work on his biography, either autobiography or biography. It's part of the things on the works to tell the world who this man is. But knowing who he is, the little will know. He rather wants his works to speak, his ideas to speak, than just telling the story of he was born today, he married the other day, he did this the other day, he did the wapa. No, that's not what he wants. That's not his kind of person. from what we've seen. So that's why we are coming through this system, this style of presenting formally his ideas to the global community from what he has been pushing single-handedly alone over the years. So that's by way of general opening remarks. So we're going to go straight to what has brought us here today, his birthday celebration, and what we think about him. And the format we want to take is, as many of us as possible will have under 2 minutes. It could just be simply a happy birthday, and we'll take it. So we want as many of us as possible to speak. I won't know whether the children of Prof or any of them is around to kickstart this part of the celebration, the felicitations. Dozier or Pascal, is any of the children around to start? I think I've seen.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm asking Chidi. Okay, good, to unmute.
Ndewo. Aha m Chimdendo Ebe Osuagwu. Professor Chidi Osuagwu ngoforoman ara na nne na nna ngoforoman. Asị m ekele unu niile nọ ebe a gbakọrọ ni. Kwari ugwu at world scale. Ekelele m Jenje TV because o promotukwere ya oge ọ chọrọ ịga maka president of Ọhaneze Ndị Igbo. I say Jenje TV rule 68 countries. Ka Chineke nye ya visa to heaven in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. One by one, ihe anyị ga-ehụ unu n'ụmụnachi obo. Ihe anyị ga-eji merụ na ọjị agaghị akwa anyị. Ọwụkwa ni burial onye 75 years kunobia do. All celebration of 100-year birthday in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Were ya na-egawala ihu. Udo dịrị unu.
Dikwarago. Thank you so much, Maazị Nayukwu Chimdi Osuagwu. And I like it. I'm not teaching you ka nke ya tọgbucha onwe ya n'ụtọ. Chineke gozie gị, gozikwa ezinụlọ gị, gozie ndị Osuagwu niile. Mekwanụ onye nna anyị ukwu a aghọ ihe ọ ghọrọ taa. Mgbe naanị n'aka ya, ọ dịghị ihe ọ gara ewu. Ọ maka nkwado niile unu nyere ya. Ma ghere onye ọṅụfọrọ ara nyere ya otu ihe a. Hapụ ya. So, Dozier, so you help us with moderating this section. If there are any other persons from the Osuagwu family, his children, his siblings, who want to say a word like their brother just did.
So anyone interested in speaking, please just raise your hand and I'll unmute you very easily. So I'm waiting for that signal. Okay, so I'll move on to, I think I see one hand up, so. Brother Ken, please go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, I'm speaking from Nigeria, so that's why it's good evening. Professor Osuagwu, I joined him in Futo in the department, used to be Department of Biomedical Technology. And we are now biomedical engineering. I already wrote something in the chat that is my mentor. In fact, right from the time we met in the department, I'm sure he didn't know, but he has had a very big influence in my life and thoughts. And I respect him for it because this is a man that if he meets you or you meet him, you cannot leave him without gaining something. In fact, there was a time I was running a series of a few of the things I learned from him. And one of them was what we know as seminar. Seminar came from, seminal fluid. And if they tell you that your paper is seminal, what it means is that it's a classical work that can reproduce itself. Sperm, seminal fluid, one drop can reproduce itself. Just drop one in a woman, the woman gets pregnant and produce grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So you can write a thesis. In fact, most of the works of Prof Osuagwu are seminar. And since he taught me about that idea of seminar, everything I write, I look at it. Is this work seminar? Is it going to produce? Can we get, for instance, my PhD work? I'm still writing papers from it. Can a particular work that is classical reproduce many other works, still talking about, different aspects of the work? So the prof is in fact, I'm very proud of him anywhere I go. In fact, there's no program I have done that I've not called him as a plenary speaker. I'm sure he must be, I know he has not said it, but he must be thinking sometimes that this boy, they disturb me. He just presented one of our, monthly webinar. In fact, he's the first presenter. So in a nutshell, I can never forget him, my mentor, and I wish I have a lot of things to give him as my token of appreciating him. Thank God for his life, and thank God for even bringing him to this part of our world. Thanks very much, all. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor Kenneth. And I think we'll go straight to Professor Zav. Professor Zav is a professor of mathematics. And I'm still yet to know how people, become that, because I had to jump from the window studying mathematics for free, and I regret it. Prof, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Oluchi. Thank you for that introduction. I am Zephyrin Sokonkwo. I'm from Nduha Muzikina Zobo. Just as my younger brother Oluchi has mentioned, I'm a professor of mathematics here at Albany State University. Albany is in South Georgia. So my university belongs to the University System of Georgia. So I've been on this campus for the last 22 years. As I mentioned, I'm an Obo original. So when we see an Obo super original, we bow. I've known Professor Osuagwu for some time now, and I've had several opportunities to discuss with him. And what excites me about Professor Osuagwu more than anything else is not the fact that he's a scientist. I regard myself as an applied mathematician, as a scientist too. He's not just a scientist. He's an enigma, an icon. I don't know whether he knows more history than science, or he knows more science than history. And everything he knows it too well. So he could have written several PhD dissertations in history, especially in Igbo culture. So I was very excited when Dr. Pascal invited me to this occasion today to celebrate Professor Chidi Osuagwu. We wish Professor Osuagwu a happy birthday. Just as Chimdendo mentioned, we'd like to see him live at least 100 years or more. We need him around. We need him not only in Obo, but also in the Igbo world, Igbo community. In fact, he's a Nigerian icon. So happy birthday, Prof. And thank you, Oluchi, for moderating this effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. You really summarized it. Our celebrant today can best be described as an enigma. I've seen the hands of welcome, sir. If you can go ahead and unmute him to felicitate with our celebrant.
Thank you, my brother Oluchi. I want to use this medium to extend my congratulations of happy birthday to our illustrious son, Prof himself. I want to confess to you that I have never encountered him personally, but testimonies and references of different people I have met really is one of the factors that attracted me to him. I encountered his younger brother, encountered him sometime, and we have been in an organization, Noble Good Leadership Forum. So when I interacted with Chief Eben, what I saw really proved a point to me of what my wife said. My wife is from Umoke, near their house, in Umunachi. So my wife said sometime when I told my wife, look, I spoke with Professor Chidi. He said, is that one that speak with lips? I said, which one that speak with lips? He said, there's one in their family in Umunachi who came down from US sometime years back. And, it's like, when he comes home, that they normally go and peep through, because when they see him walk around the street, go enter into bush paths, they see him talking with lips. That they are very brainy and very intelligent in their, in their family. There are people you can't beat even academically. So what am I saying? When I encountered Chief Eben, I really saw, great brain that is in Obo. So that was one of the reasons I posited in On-Go to Obo platform some time ago. I submitted that, please, in any way we can, we should try and make sure we squeeze everything out from Prof. Because what he has inside him, if he goes with them, we will be at a great loss. So I still want to make that call as I extend my, 3 happy cheers to him. Wish him a very long life and in good health continually, no matter whatever obstacles, there are many struggles and obstacles that come around man in this life. My prayer is that God will continue to strengthen him lead him, direct him till he fulfills his calling upon the face of this earth, even fruitfully. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you so
So,
much.
brethren, I thank you. I thank you for coming. I thank Chief Eben, who is from the Arboro. Who's from the Arboro? Really is really putting up much to make sure that Obo comes to level. May God keep you also in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Chief Onyenaho, for that wonderful speech. You are 100% right. The Osuagwu family, the one that speaks with leaves, not only him, the celebrant also talks to leaves, and leaves give him answers. And also Blessing, his younger brother, is another aspect we need to go into, as we keep on celebrating, this icon. Because as you just said, what he has inside him is just amazing. And part of what we're doing today, because we hardly celebrate people like this in our society. Why shouldn't we do that? And that is why we started this. It's not just going to be a one-off thing. It's going to be a continuous celebration, dialogue, engagement, until we get out recorded all the things we think God has enabled this man with to help heal our society. Thank you again. So if you are ready to speak, just indicate by a raise of hand that the floor is all yours. There's no formal protocol or formal order. We are all brothers. We are all friends of Chidi Osuagwu. I know you have encountered him one way or the other as a brother, friend, intellectual partner, student, mentee and colleague. So the floor is all ours.
Yeah, so I've just unmuted Donald, or asking him to unmute.
Donald,
Donald, I'm requesting that you unmute.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be this very forum with you guys. I'm a retired police officer. I have not really formally met Professor Osuagwu, but from interactions I've had with him, on social media and what have you, he comes across as someone who is an embodiment of the history of the cultural disposition of the Igbo and so many other cultures in the world. From him, I've learned so much about historic studies, about the Igbo in diaspora, in Cuba, in the Americas, and what have you. He's so knowledgeable, and his knowledge is so extensive that even whatever book he writes today might not encompass all the knowledge he's acquired over time. We thank God for having a brother like him, because he comes across as somebody who is very, very honest, very, very honest, and he likes to deal with people who are equally of the same disposition. I've had the opportunity of inviting him to Abuja to attend a kind of a closed-door forum with one of our brothers, Odumegwu. That is Festus. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. We were still hoping to invite him over because sometimes we host seminars, indoor parties, and then we discuss the way forward for our people. Prof, I wish you all the best. We thank you for trying to leave a landmark for humanity, because this work will, over time, outlive you and outlive most of us. So we thank you for your knowledge. We thank you for this day. And like somebody has said earlier, 100 years is just a start for you, because you're going to be more than that. You're going to be older than that. We pray. So ndị Igbo si no ọfọ so ibe ebe. Agụgụ ọfọ ma onye Christian agụgụ ọfọ onye omenala agụkwa ọfọ. So ọfọ dum agụrụ ya sokwara ibe ebe. Ndị Christian gasị n'aha Jesus. Amen. So we thank you so much, Prof. We're going to live very long. We wish you many happy returns of this day. And for your friends, those you have met, those we have not met, we discuss you all the time because we are proud of you as an Igbo, as a Nigerian, or let me put quotes, Nigerian in quotes, as an African. May God bless you and bless us all. Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you, Mr. Donald. And I really love the way you put that, Nigeria in parentheses. And also, if there are opportunities to have some of those dialogues once more, where he will be re-invited in Abuja, because Abuja really needs to hear a voice like his. Not that they have not been hearing his voice, but they need to. I don't have an answer. Who again wants to take the floor? The floor is open. Everybody's invited to talk, please. Because this section is not going to last too long because we'll have a full loaded package here with us today.
Yeah, and also just to thank everyone who has spoken so far because we've kept it really short. So and that's what we hope everybody continues to do. So I'll unmute another person now.
I think you can. Okay. All right. Where's my video? Okay. Hello. Okay. My name is.
We can hear you.
Okay, can hear me clearly now. My name is Chinedu Obo. Chinedu Obo is my name. I'm from Eza in Ebonyi State. I happen to be a broadcaster. But Professor Chidi Osuagwu is our father here. I came to know him through a very close friend of mine, Chukwudozie Chukwuwike. In our discussions, he would sometimes say, Professor Chidi Osuagwu said this, Professor Chidi Osuagwu inferred this. At the point I asked him, is Professor Chidi Osuagwu a dibia? Because there are certain things he tells me he said that are things I knew happened, some things that happened in my own private life that he didn't know about and can't possibly have known about. He told me that it's more to Professor Chidi Osuagwu than just being a dibia. And then once upon a time, I visited Professor Chidi Osuagwu with dossier. On seeing me, he asked me my name. I told him. He told me what my name means and where I come from, telling me that Professor Chidi Osuagwu is not just a man of the physical. He's versed in metaphysical from other things I came to know from my interactions with him. And I also know that he has in-depth knowledge about medicaments, things that are natural herbs can help us do here, which helped a lot of us during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown and shall continually help us. So the organizers of this particular program should be praised because a man of his type does not walk every path every other day. So we should be able to get as much as we can out of him because we can't possibly get all that God has put in him. And then place all those in public domain, and then let those who have ears hear. And then he shall live more than he has done today. So we wish him many more years ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my dear brother and friend. Good to see your face again. It's been long. And I hope good to see you that you're good, despite all the hostels and hassles. So go ahead. Just as you said, beyond being a DBA, being complete metaphysicist, and if there's anything to be added to that, that's really encapsulate what, you know, our celebrant is. He's a man we are all awesomely proud of. Who again is taking the floor? Before we call it a day on this particular segment?
Yeah, so just to add Oluchi, Genjet TV, if you have something to say about Prof, please, this is also a good time. And like the MC said, anyone else who would have something to say. So I could unmute you.
Okay, thank you very much. Everyone has said one or two things about Prof. Prof he's not only a philosopher, but he is also someone who, I don't know many of him that we still have alive in the great Igbo nation today. He's a man who has, in many occasions, I think someone said here that sometimes he doesn't know if he's a medical doctor or a dibia. But I think it depends on how you want to contextualize his understanding of dibianess. In him, I learned something new. He was the first person that actually explained dibia as a philosophical construct. Now, dibia as the societal thinkers, that initially when I read this book, After God is Dibia, you get to think, and growing up, the things you know about when people talk about Dibia as native doctors and those that can prepare medicine. But Prof was able to, in our conversations, break it down that Dibia is not entirely that. Dibia is beyond that. Dibia are the great thinkers. Dibia are those who could, like the Greek philosophers. He made an allusion that I found interesting. He explained how those during the slave trade, when they got to the point, or rather the reason why they were somewhat sold, some of them, was simple because they were thinkers. And thinkers sometimes could look like people who were lazy because they want to engage their brain, use their brain. They might not be good at physical work. Now, the society probably will now say, this one is a lazy one. If you go back to Things Fall Apart, you can recall that Okonkwo's dad is not too good with hoes and machetes, but he's good in other things, which makes him a great Dibian, a great thinker. But the society in which he lived in at that point didn't consider him a philosopher, but he was one. So, I can spend hours, and I say, Prof, thank you. Most times you give me and you indulge me, because he's one man that whenever you go back to him, he has an answer to that. Is it that when you talk about Igbo, he would keep telling you about the Igbo worldview, which he will link to the Haiti, how, and the things the great Igbos have done, and how also he will, link it to other great things, empires, where they are all over the world. It is a privilege, I must note, on several occasions, on several one-to-one interviews I have had with Prof, after 2 hours, you will think, well, is there any need of ending this interview, or should we allow this interview to continue? But at least one thing, anything that starts must have an end. But in Prof, I've seen a man of great intellect, a man of wisdom, and a man of immense energy, even at his age. He was one of those that veered for the presidency of Ohaneze Ndibo, as it was on this platform, Njenje Media TV, that for the first time in the history of Igbo nation, everyone who was vying for that post was invited for the people to speak to them and for them to give them their ideas and sell their worldview to them. Prof, again, didn't disappoint. As usual, he was one of those that the people walked out of the meeting and said, wow, we never knew that such a great mind still exists in the great Igbo nation. Prof, it is a privilege to have met you, and it is a privilege to know you. And I say once more, happy 75th birthday. And we are all ears to now listen to your book presentation. Once more, Prof, it's an honor. There, I say happy birthday once more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our brother and the chief executive of Unjenge TV. I tell you this, I owe you great interviews on Unjenge TV of our celebrant. I not just didn't follow them, I took serious, regular, detailed notes, writing, longhand and shorthand. They were so amazing. And the questions that you actually threw up that brought out the depthness of what the issues are were really the things that struck me a lot. Keep on doing the great work you're doing for the great Igbo nation. It is only Chukwu Kabiama that will reward you for the immense job you are doing. Because over the years, our people just talk and then it stops at talking. We have been challenging ourselves, okay, why don't you establish media houses and all that? And nobody does that or does a good job out of it. And then you happen on the scene, and the difference has been very, very clear since you came in. Thank you very much. We'll keep on partnering with you, and as we go ahead in our project of expanding or making sure that everybody gets to understand this the alternate, but the real worldview, which is the Igbo worldview, as expounded by Professor Chidi Osuagwu. There was that. More talks before we move on to the next program.
Yeah, so, Mr. MC, I would indulge myself here since I'm holding things on the tech side. We are midway in the program, so this is 1 hour gone, just as a time check, for everyone. But I think I want to take this opportunity to also express my felicitations to Prof. Just like many people on the call, I've known Prof for getting to 20 years now, or maybe more. It's kind of hard to say that because it feels like yesterday. And a lot of people have said really great things. I totally second everything that was said. When you look at Prof's scientific work and his work on the culture, it's hard to tell, is he a professor of this one or the other one? Because the depth at which he explores topics is just unparalleled. But I will not speak so much about the knowledge and the intelligence and the insights that Prof provides to the world and anyone who crosses path with him. I think I'll speak to what I think that actually means for people. It is different to get someone who feeds your mind, someone who feeds your intellect only. But I think Prof is a little bit beyond that. I think he feeds your spirit. What can you say about a man who points at the very earth on which you stand and tell you, this is terra firma, this is a place to stand, this is who you are, this is what you have done, this is what your people have done, this is the gene that runs in you. I think that does something to the individual. It emboldens, it empowers, it fortifies. It is what the Dibias did, right? They essentially fortify you, right? Fortify you for the journey, fortify you for the mission. So in many ways, through my encounter, and I know the encounters of many people here with Prof, he points at the earth on which you stand. He tells you what you can be. He tells you what your people are. He tells you the gene that runs through you. He tells you what your people have been able to accomplish. And that transforms the individual. It transforms the community. So I think everything said here today speaks to how stirred up, many people have been when their paths cross with that of Prof. So I think it's a great opportunity, 75 years, to say my best felicitations to Prof. Congratulations, not just for the book, because all this knowledge has always been in you, and you've shared it so generously with everyone. But to say congratulations, may God keep you alive, keep you strong, keep you healthy, to continue to impact the lives of people, the lives of your mentees and everyone you cross paths with, and also continue to enrich the community from which you come. I think Obo is blessed, to have you.
Thank you so much for that, Pascal. That's quite touching, and I know it's personal. But what I take from that deeply is Prof don't just feed you with knowledge, he feeds your spirit, and you can't minus anything from that statement. He feeds your spirit. Okay, I will have a Chukwemeka Lucky. Can go ahead and can Pascal unmute him? And let's hear from you.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Chukwemeka Ihemagoba. Actually, I have not met Prof physically, but I've heard a lot about him, actually. Just as many of us have said, although I'm currently living and studying in Germany, I studied in Futo as well, and I wasn't privileged to be in the in professor's class. I studied physics, so I wasn't there. So I've heard a lot about him, and I just wish to express my gratitude and to wish him a happy birthday. Congratulations, Prof, and happy birthday. I've actually seen some of his previous works, and after hearing about him, I made some research online, and I was able to get some important information, and that was why I decided to come to listen to hear more about Prof. So that's why I'm here. So happy birthday, Professor.
Thank you so much, Chukwemeka. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys are safe and doing good in Germany. And remember also, Prof has done a lot of intellectual work, in collaboration with Germans. In fact, the African vehicle prototype was he helped put out there, was practically done in Germany. I guess you need to really come closer, and it's people like you, physicists, who may now help us take some of these ideas to the physical level. So I'm so happy that you made our time to be here. Does you want to hear Father Anjok also, an older, colleague of Prof? Comrade Ifeanyi, I know you've always followed Prof. If you are still with us, we want to hear you guys, talk. This is our thing, because we must celebrate our own. We must learn to celebrate our own, not just celebrating empty vessels that make all the noises, call themselves leaders in parentheses. This is the real thing. This is the real deal. We must recover who we are, and we can only do that through celebrating genuineness. For me also, one of the greatest things that struck me with Prof, having known him in the last 30 years or more, it usually happens when I take people who don't really know Prof to see him, because I do that a lot. People from all over the world I've encountered, I'll say, let's go see, Prof. And from those encounters, anytime whenever we step out of the gate, they ask me, how come he's so simple? How come he's so ordinary? I said, what do you want him to do? That's who he is. And that's one of the things that really take away from knowing Prof all these years. Besides, that Prof who knows is that he made me one of the persons I consider my closest, oldest friends. our friendship was really concretized because two of us about 30 years ago sat at a conference and listened to Prof talk. That was at Alban Podium or so. You know, I've known this guy for some time, and Prof just suddenly said, Ihite, Nikengo Bo, you are brothers. And he explained what he meant. And I'm from Obo, Ikenga, and my old childhood friend from Ihite. And we stood up right at the and hugged us. So we are brothers all these years, and you know, so till today, you know, we've never forgotten that. That's the kind of thing, you know, Prof, you know, causes happen to your life. So most speeches before we, you know, move to the book review proper.
Yeah, so just still a time check. I think we can, Mr. MC, maybe, you know, 2-3 more minutes before we move on, because we are at the past the middle, and Prof has a lecture too for us.
Okay. I think we'll just then shift base, move over to
okay.
Because remember what we're doing here today is really 3 points, you know, felicitations, which we are where we are now, presenting a collection of works, just few works, you know, what we call a volume 1 of the works of Professor Chidi Osuagwu. There'll be more volumes as we go along. That's the second part of what we're doing today. That'll be followed by a very brief, quick lecture as a part of response from Prof. Then we now challenge ourselves. What happens from here going forward? We'll explain all that as we go along. So I want to, at this juncture then, call on Chukwudozie Chukwuwike to tell us more about this book, collection of works put together by this team to honor Professor Chidi Osuagwu. Thank you.
Okay, thank you once again, Gerald. Thank you, everybody. Good evening.
Just a moment. We're having some static, so let me make sure that it's. Please, anyone else not speaking, try to unmute yourself.
The other one audio. Is the audio on? Check the audio on. Check it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a person to mute them, but if please you can mute yourself, you know, I think that would be very helpful. So Dozie, I would unmute you now.
No. So I can start, right?
Yes, please go ahead with the book review.
Okay, Pascal, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Hello?
We hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, the title of this review is My People Perish for Lack of Knowledge. A review of Chidi G. Osuagwu's Erima Towards a Just World. Of course, the reviewer is Chidozie Chukwuwike. Erima Towards a Just World is a collection of seminal essays of Chidi G. Osuagwu. Going through the essays in this book is like going through an initiation process. The words, the symbolisms, the language transports the reader to the point of self-realization. The author has a magical way of shocking you to the realization that some concepts and expressions you are used to and have used all through your life, you are not really aware of their full import. Erima is an ancient Igbo concept. Chidi G. Osuagwu in this book explains it to be a contraction of Eriri Omumunwa, the Igbo expression for the umbilical cord. Among the Igbo, the umbilical cord symbolizes the organic link between people of common ancestry. You can find that in page 89 of the book. In the preface to the book, the author writes, the book is arranged in two parts. The first part and the first three chapter essays introduces Obo, Etiti, and the Titibo, Obo, Uboma, and Mbalo, in parentheses. This book, it is hoped, will help these people know themselves better, as well as inspire other Igbo and African peoples to begin to reconstruct their identities, post-slavery and colonialism. The second part deals with cultures and practices that arise organically from the Uwizu worldview of the people and the Erima social system, combined with so many seminal ideas from so many other dedicated African scholars and cultural enthusiasts. One hopes one more signpost has been raised on the highway to African Renaissance. In the first chapter, that's unquote, I just quoted Chidi Osuagwu in the book. In the first chapter, Chidi Osuagwu, hinging on his vast research and deep understanding of his Obo roots, takes a plunge into the discourse of self-rediscovery, identity recovery, and rectification in post-invasion Africa, and urges other scholars to join him and expand the discourse in an organic fashion. He continues on the same path of self-knowledge in the next chapter and admonishes the present generation of Etiti people to go back to where their ancestors had arrived. In other words, so far, the Etiti, and by extension, the entire Igbo and Africa, has so far only progressed in reverse gear. Our contemporary society has not matched the advancement of our ancestors in thoughts and deed after the colonial invasion and its attendant confusion. In chapter 3, the author reminds the Etiti Igbo people and their confluence that their confluence is not just a mere accident, but one that had a divine purpose. Their ancestors from diverse Igbo origins gathered at the Etiti Peninsula in search of security, but at the end built a stronghold for life, truth, justice, freedom, and dignity for all who cared for those values. The author sees this autochthonous Igbo group as raw material for the synthesis of a more whole and representative Igbo people. You can see this thought from page 62 of the book. Chapter 4 begins with the part 2 of the book, and it dwells on the Igbo ideas of a harmonious and just world, the struggles to achieve this egalitarian world, the sacrifices, the losses, and the roadmap to rectification. At every stage of the way, the author pauses to remind the present generation never to abandon the ways of the ancestors. Chidi Osuagwu, characteristically using simple and fluid language, explains very complex and profound Obo Igbo concepts such as Ohiajioku, Obahaji, Okobwe, Osu, Ume, Umunak, and so on, which opens up the reader to a better understanding of the Igbo worldview. Contemporary Igbo society is awash with names, concepts, expressions, and phenomena. They are hardly aware of their meaning and import. This is at the root of the identity crisis bedeviling the Igbo world today. Thanks to the untiring research efforts of Professor Chidi Osuagwu, this lacuna is gradually being bridged. Which he describes as the festival of everything, is an ancient Obo Igbo festival that defines the humanity of an Obo person. The Osu phenomenon has been made more understandable and less obnoxious in this book. After reading this book, one would sit back and heave a sigh of relief, exclaiming, so this Osu is only a product of modern day ignorance? Indeed, a people perish for lack of knowledge. Thank you, Professor Chidi Osuagwu, for this offering. It is an invaluable gift to the Igbo people and their neighbors, and indeed to humanity at large. Thank you very much.
Did that finish?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dozier. Mr. MC, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A great book review. That is the book. That is the excellent work, a compilation of some, just very few of the seminal works of Professor Chidi Osuagwu. This review we just had is really top notch. And as the reviewer said, the journey of Igbo self-realization, the journey of Igbo self-discovery, the Igbo Renaissance, this is the journey. This book is the path to that recovery. Does he want to say something? You can mute him.
Okay, as the moderator has said, this is the book I just reviewed. We have many copies of this book in their hundreds, and Professor Chidi Osuagwu is here with us. This book is right before him, and this book is meant to be circulated. So, moderator, please, over to you.
Okay. My co-moderator, we take my co-moderator, do we take the book launch right away?
So Oluchi, so just one comment before we do that. So we also like to use this opportunity to thank, very profusely all those who helped to make this project possible. So we would like to thank Igbo Legacy Group, Peter Anosike, Professor Zeph Okonkwo, and many others who helped to make this book see the light of day. So with that, please go ahead, Mr. MC, and anyone interested in launching or speaking to some of the comments that Dozier made, please feel free to also do so. Mr. MC, it's back to you.
Thank you very much. The Igbo search for a just world, for a harmonious world, not just for the Igbo world, the entire world system. The answers, and not just the answer, the parts to this puzzle are contained in this seminal work. And this is us talking to us. This is us who have followed Professor Chidi Osuagwu over the years. This is now our time to say, Prof, we really appreciate all the knowledge, all the things that have impacted on us all these years. This is not for Chidi Osuagwu. This is our way of making sure that the world gets to know what we have and how we can recreate this our world, because it's possible. So in no formal order, these books are all ours to take home. No matter where you are, you reside, you will get a copy will get to you, or copies will get to you. And we all know the tradition of book presentation like this. We'll go ahead and, as your spirit moves you, as they say, support this journey of rediscovery. Day one. Dozier, you guys on on ground in the front lines. It can also help us in
Yes, I also see a question on for those in the US, how can they obtain copies? So we have a very simple logistics at this time, but the goal is to send a batch of the books to different hub locations, and that way at least start distributing to those who need copies. But ultimately, maybe several months from now, we should have a soft copy of the book that will be available for anyone to pick up, and also through Amazon and other places. But for now, we will be shipping batch volumes of the book to different locations. So if you're interested, you indicate that, and it is going to come to you.
So the ball is now on our court to make sure that this work gets to every home. This is the beginning of our journey to identity recovery. As Pascal mentioned, we have two major hubs in Owerri for distribution to any part of Nigeria where any of us reside, and in the US to anyone who lives out here in the diaspora. You can make your token pledges, we'll get them recorded and communicate with you on how payments can be done, etc. Comrade Ifani is asking, is the book not on electronic format, PDF? Not yet. It is not yet, but we are working on that, so that because this is a work we want to make sure that it gets to every person in this planet Earth. Thank you so very much, Professor Zev. Said he's supporting what we're doing and picking up one copy of the book for 50,000 Naira. Thank you so very much, Professor Zev.
Nothing. The same we should make donation for places. Somebody has giving 50,000 naira.
That's Professor Zev. If you go to the chat, you see that in the chat. We can also walk to our chat, the chat room. Just go, you click chat and type in anything. Sorry, Kelechi from the Igbo Legacy, that you say you don't have volume where your own end. Maybe you may need to, log out and come back in again and see. Louis Akuroha is purchasing a copy of the book for $100. Thank you so much, Brother Lee Akuroha. Professor Kenneth Nkuma, 50,000, and he will need the account number. Dozie and Pascal, you need to help lift these information from the chat room. Then Donald, our brother Donald Iroham, 30,000 for a copy. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. The account details should be getting to you. Oh, thank you so much from Ginger TV Media for supporting the book with 20,000 naira. Then Comrade Ifani, all the way from is it Sweden or Holland now? $50. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support. For if find someone like from Denmark, for someone like you, you need this book. You won't miss any page of it. I know this book is coming at a critical moment in the Igbo world's history. Christian Uday from England. Christian Uday is the Prime Minister of the Biafran government in exile. He's supporting this book launch with 30,000 naira. Then Chioma, our sister Chioma, is also supporting the book launch with $50 or whatever the naira equivalent is. Chioma Thomas, thank you so much, our sister. I mean, anywhere any program, any activity, and you don't have sisters or female folks there, you know that the Igbo world is not complete. So thank you so much for your support, Sister Chioma. Our brother and uncle, Chimdindo Osuagwu, is supporting and wants to get a copy for 25,000 naira. Thank you so much for this great support. Dedem Osuagwu, Ndewusa. The Igbo Legacy Group, how I wish Kelechi can, will be able to speak with us. This is a very great, powerful Igbo organization, still part of the project of Igbo Renaissance, reawakening the Igbo spirit. And they have been part and parcel of what we are doing today. They are supporting this book launch with 100,000 naira. Thank you so much, the great Igbo Legacy Group. Okay, Pascal, please kindly publish on the chat forum the account we'll be using. We used to get to this point. Prof said that we should continue, with that for now until because it's important that our people get the account number where they can, make their payments. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, right away on the chat forum so that our people can, get hold of it.
So, Mr. MC, it's up to you, but at some point, I think we can move on with the program while people continue to indicate interest, on getting the book. Maybe towards the end, we would also give some more time, but it's on to you.
Okay. So from the book launch, why you indicate, thank you so much, Chief Onyineho, supporting the book with 50,000 naira. Thank you so much, Onyineho. While we're still on the book launch, you can make your donations on the chat so that I will make sure I'll capture everything and that nothing is lost. We'll quickly go into introduction of what we intend to do next. Because one of the greatest challenges of our society has been lack of sustainability. We want to sustain what we have started. The lecture series, the idea, what everybody has said here, the need for us to make sure that we get as much as we possibly can from this icon, this celebrated man. We're having his birthday today. So part of our plan is what Dr. Pascal is going to talk to us about, and how we make sure that we sustain the idea of recreating and reinventing our Igbo world. Ndewo.
Yes, Ndewo, Mr. MC Oluchi. So yeah, I'm Pascal Umekwe. I reside here in Alaska. It's kind of so it's always a privilege to be involved in anything that has to do with Prof. So the plan at this point is to, like Oluchi mentioned, find a way to keep this going, like keep this the harvest of the intellectual harvest that Prof continues to bestow on everyone, to keep it going. And there are a few vehicles that we are currently exploring to making that happen. One of them is the Igbo Renaissance, call it a school, call it a conference or symposium, but a festival of ideas, a place where people gather to put forward, some of the ideas that we think can move our nation and also the Black race, forward. And so after this, in 30 days, we will be discussing with a couple different stakeholders in the project. Yeah, we're talking of the Onugutu Foundation and some of the representatives from there, the Igbo Legacy Group, and some of the stakeholders from there, and some of the other groups that Prof interfaces with. And the goal will be to map out, what we think would be a plan going forward. So we're thinking of monthly conversations, which will start by going through the essays in this book that Prof has put together. So the goal will be to give Prof and everyone else the opportunity to really digest the information in each of these essays in the book. And once we've exhausted that, like we mentioned earlier, what we have here is a subset, a very small subset of the works of Prof and the works of, some of the other Igbo scholars out there. So the goal is to go through the book during this Igbo Renaissance monthly series. And once that is done, bring up other topics that we think are of interest and of great moment, at least to our people. So that is the plan. Then on the book side, like I mentioned earlier, besides the print version that we now have, the plan will be to go on to get an e-copy of the book and make that available on Amazon and some of the other publishing houses. We'll get a publishing house out here, maybe in the US or Canada, to help make this book go wide. Oluchi mapped out the vision for it. The vision is to ensure that the information in this book reaches the very ends of the earth. And to do that, we need the networks and people with the publishing experience, the marketing experience, who can put this as far and wide as we would like it to go. So on the book part, we'll have a soft copy of the book. It's going to be available on a few clicks of the mouse. You should be able to get it. Then on the part of the intellectual harvest that we continue to get from Prof, the goal is to have a monthly conversation. So the Zoom information is going to be made available so that once in a month, we have people come together and discuss the same ideas. Here we have physicists, we have project icons, we have engineers, we have all sorts of people from the Igbo nation. It is important that we continue to play with these ideas and discuss them so that we all find ways, in which we can apply them in our different areas of life. That way, the core concept of our people is not lost, in history. It is used and it's made alive, in the ways we carry out activities that affect humanity. Mr. MC, I'll give it back to you, and we move on with the program.
Okay, thank you very much. In his usual style, we told our chief celebrant, Professor Chidi Osuagwu, that after the felicitations, we expect him to also respond. And he said his response will be a very short lecture, something he has been holding tight for a long time. He has chosen today, his 75th birthday, to tell us what he's had in mind. That will also be part of the discussions when we roll out what Dr. Pascal has said. So we're going to invite our celebrant to talk to us. There will be possibly the first in the series of the lecture series Pascal has just told us about. Thank you, Prof. And I also want us to really stay tight, because especially for those who may be who have not heard from Prof, have not read him, this is an opportunity to, for yourself, challenge us on all the things you have heard people say about him here today.
Hello.
Yo, yeah, loud and clear, good.
Okay. I seem to be frozen or something. So, I want to thank everybody for today. I'm not ordinarily a ceremony person. In fact, the day I graduated for my first degree at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, I had to be persuaded that it was necessary to go for the graduation ceremony. And for my master's degree at Ohio, I left. And they sent me the certificate later. But I think if ceremonies are like this one, I would want to participate. And I want to thank the young people who are behind this, those ones from closer home, and the Igbo Legacy Group that are a pan-Igbo group. I quite appreciate them because it gives me joy to see a young group like that, Pan-Igbo. In fact, the first person among them that talked to me about what they are doing, a young medical doctor from Anioma, a lady, was from Anioma, and it gave me joy that they could organize at such a Pan-Igbo level, and I was happy to talk with them, and they are major players in today's event. But what I have to say is that to be 75 after Biafra is quite a remarkable achievement, because whenever I think of myself, I think of myself in relation to my age mate, schoolmate, and friend who died in the war. And so many like that died in the war. I could be dead. But I always look at my life as life shared with them, and their death as death shared with me. So whenever I do anything, I do it from the point of view of using my physical capacity to try to achieve what they died for, what ideals they died for. And the day I was born, though, there was celebration, because they tell me at the maternity ward at Methodist Hospital Amachara, well, Methodist Maternity Amachara, that I behaved so differently, so uniquely, that the nurses declared that my name was Dingba. And each of them played that I will marry their daughter. And it was this Dingba that my mother, a very churchous kind of character, that when she now went to baptize me, infant baptism, she looked for a biblical name that is equivalent to Igbo Dingba, and they found out that Gideon, son of Joas, will be a model that will fit a Dingba. And that's why I was baptized as a Gideon. So my mother actually, until today, kept reminding me that it didn't seem that I was about to achieve what I was said to have come to achieve. And it is an ongoing challenge. But also my father called me dead. And that's because I'm the patriarch in the family. The reason is that I come from a family of Libyans, and the man who reincarnated me, my father's brother, who was about to die, called my mother and said, "You are too church going, you are too churches. You are a good woman. If I exit from this world, I want to come back quickly through you. But I know you are not going to try to find out who I am. But as a Libyan, I will do the job of the prediction before I die." I said, if I die, wait for me at high noon on a Night. When I arrive, you will know that I've come. So on Wednesday, 26 February 1947, at high noon, I was born. So not only the nurses, my mother and everybody called me Dede, because that's what Ezahu, who had died, was called. That's how I became the patriarch and the senior to my father, everybody. So part of what I've been trying to achieve, though, is that this assignment of video, and the one, for example, everybody gave me a mandate and an assignment. Like I said, when I was going to America in 1971 after the war, my father called me and said, Dede, I say, ga alabeke ga monti hebeke yama. Asai ga pato wa Hawaii na hao. Until then, I hadn't considered the possibility of different people living in different worlds. But actually, once I arrived in America, I realized that they lived in a different world than our people. And I've spent my life trying to find out what that different world was. And luckily, I have scientific education. And actually, nobody who doesn't have good scientific education can understand the African world because it's a naturalistic world. So I have this good luck there of being born within that circumstance by two people, my mother and my father, who are at the heart of leadership in Obo. Because my mother's Owom was the first primary Dibia of Obo and still holds the Obo at the Umobo. And my father, equal of Abutu, although his sons are now at Umunacha and Obodi, was the greatest practitioner whose Diopo I have. Now, so there is this attitude, therefore, of living through the paradigm set up by Owom and Ipe. And what's that paradigm? Within the context of the slave trade, a community was created to protect the people from the slave trade.
Is it frozen?
Yes, it seems that way. Professor Osuagwu, I think you're frozen. We
in a secure peninsula. And the people fought for the slavers during or for a person from Etiti to be seen, to be befriended anybody from outside that was a slave. The punishment was death by immolation. The person was burnt alive, and there was no appeal over it.
Oh.
The war from which recently we had George Floyd asking for bread. I can't breathe. To guarantee the Kumendo. And my PhD work for instance, I studied, and each of these diseases is a disease that interrupts Umendo, the breath of life. And so here we are, our ancestors promised that the suffering that came with the Eurasians who invaded Africa, that is an event within a certain era, within a certain epoch, called Ogazi. the age of childishness, but that it will come to pass. And we will go into Oganya, the age of the sun, the age of enlightenment. So some of us that are aware of this fact, the Didia, we have been working diligently to welcome Oganya. And I can say one thing that many people might be surprised to hear. I think COVID-19 is the herald of Oganya. 2 days ago, I gave a webinar to the young scientists who I mentored and worked with. One of them, Dr. Nkumo, that just spoke here. And the title of the webinar was Negligible Neanderthal Gene, Nutrition, and Madagascar Protocol Moderate African COVID-19 virulence. Hopefully, we distribute the abstract to this talk so that most of you will read it. But what COVID-19 has revealed is that part of the reason Africans in Africa are not being so hit, contrary to expectation, is that we possess not a particular gene that is associated with narcissism, with the instinct to tyranny, the gene of the Aryan, the Neanderthal gene. Neanderthal is a species of human-like beings that interbred with Eurasians. So if you see Putin, the Russian, NATO trying to solve problem by violence, it is actually the Neanderthal gene, because their leaders turned out to be people who are full of these genes. For because we don't have the gene, we have been saved from COVID-19 more than was predicted. But whereas COVID-19 is easing out the rest of the world, you take note that the royalty of Europe are still rushing to the hospital because it is that gene that they possess. And they are the people who invaded our land, who ruined the world. As I speak this, it will seem like a cock and bull story, but I'm telling you what's going on. And you can Google it and be shocked what is going on. And what we now know is that now we know what the issues are. We can say, we know who the invaders are. We know those whose ancestors move around with cows that came from the Near East and carried this gene for narcissism and consider themselves alpha predators. That's what Aryan means. Many people don't know. When you hear the name Iran, it is the same word as Aryan. The supremacist people, they call themselves Aryans. But COVID-19 has actually devastated Iran. People are not taking note. Just like any other place where they have this gene. So we now are being enlightened. We now have information. Like I've said, we are at the gate of Oganya. It is left to us. And now, very soon, I'll release a paper. I got Pascal, Dr. Omekwe, who is here now, to redo the statistical analysis that will show us why wealth is transferred from the poor of the world to the rich of the world. They come from ideas that come from this realm of the Aryans, from Mesopotamia, the idea of the alpha predator, people who claim they are sons of the wolf. I don't know if people are aware that the Roman Empire, the founder Romulus, claimed to be son of the wolf, which is a twin brother Romulus, who he ended up killing to make the point that wolf, there has to be a predator, a supreme one. And that is what all these invading forces modeled themselves as the alpha predator. And he came from this area now being devastated by COVID-19, that with the new science of genetics, we are now seeing a pattern we never saw before, and we're going to address. And my idea is therefore not just the idea for math, is that we are working and using that point of view to analyze the economic data generated by the rest of the world, that they can't see what the meaning, they can't extract information from their data. But we can do that now, and we can now start asking fundamental questions and insist that the world must change. So I am happy with the young people organizing this, who are taking decisions, informing me of lectures and so on. Well, you are committing yourself now to what one would call missionarism. The mission of propagating the pure human ideas of Homo sapiens sapiens that have suffered during the age of gas, the age of childishness. And you see, the essence, the heart of childishness is narcissism, self-obsession. And that is the character of these people that call themselves supremacists, who carry the swastika that came from the land of the Aryans, the land of the noble, the land of warriors. But you see, on the other hand, what do our people say? Our people say, Kama dielo gauno, dike nwo dielo atuelu ihe a ga-eme. So we are sapiens sapiens. Instead, the warrior, the thinker will die, let the warrior die. That's what we believe. It is up to us now. You have gathered young thinkers. You think I can help you? I'm ready to help you. But I'm not doing it as Chidi Osuagwu. I'm doing it as a son of Ipe, a son of Owo, a son of the Suama, a son of Igbo, a son of Africa. I'm coming from a family where people have made more sacrifices than myself for what we all understand we are doing, including my elder brother that took me to the United States, who sacrificed everything. So it's important to understand this. Now you are saying you are missionary, we are ready to work. What is our mission to change the world? Because we are now with Uganda, the age of enlightenment, the age of the sun. But it is not something to go prophesy. We throw equations at the world. Like the commentator mentioned earlier, by 2006, I went to the University of South Africa and gave a series of lectures on the application of African worldview to science. By the time I finished, a month later, I found out I had been listed by Philosopedia as a world-class thinker. I never knew about that organization before. Never asked them anything again. And when I looked at who else was there, I was surprised. Wole Soyinka was there as there was a way they called him as a public something. There was a way they used it, but I was a class as a a thinker. So I'm ready to work with you, but it is an ancestral duty. It's not personal. It's not personal because there's not much one person can do. And I'm glad you are ready and inviting me to join you. I will join you. And I thank you very, very much. Thank you very
much. Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Thank you so very much. And I'm so happy also that you stopped yourself. We did not stop you. Because when it starts flowing, it's usually difficult for us to even tell you to hold on. And the synopsis here, it is our ancestral duty. It's not personal. It is our mission to change the world. And not just going there shouting and announcing and prophesying. No. Throwing our data, throwing our science, throwing our worldview for them to battle with. Every man has our part to this new age, Uganda. And if our forebears can do it, sustain their civilizations for thousands of years, this interregnum of slavery, Atlantic slave trade, colonialism, that's just completely insignificant when you look at the history of the world. Yes, Prof, these young folks have challenged ourselves to, join our ancestors in the pursuit of this age of Ghanaian enlightenment. I don't know. I want more responses to what Prof has said. This is just a tip of the iceberg of what we are going to see when our lecture series starts, which we are determined no matter what it will cost us. Because some of us also, thanks to the God that created us, are also in this league of DBS. For somebody like me, when it was noticed, the normal thing, the quickest thing they did was to drag me straight to the church and put me in the seminary, and good at it in the seminary. Yes, that's why you have in the priesthood, Anglican, Pentecostal, Methodist, Protestant, is where I have some of these great DBS today, because the Western world, they are very smart. But we thank God for this new reawakening. It's just like also rereading After God is Dibia, that you see the humongous, the quantum of our philosophy that encapsulates everything. And as earlier mentioned by somebody, what happened to our generation? Prof, our generation is on that path of recovery, and with you as one of our guiding lights. Thank you very much. I want responses to Prof's speech as we gradually start winding down on our program for today.
How do I comment? I feel very, very privileged to be part of this celebration of the birthday of Professor Chidi Osuagwu. I've enjoyed this privilege for several years. Since 2004, I would say, when I came back from Europe for my studies. I encountered him at the Welland Research Academy, and we bonded together. And I was fascinated by the kind of endowment that God gave him. kind of thinking capacity that he has. And his simplicity is even more majestic. So we are all very lucky and privileged to have him still very much around. And
Dozie, why is it freezing?
Yeah. But Anjoko, you're frozen. We can't hear you. So we have a few people, who's, please, if your hand is up, I can see the virtual hands, If your hand is up, if it's a still hand, if you had put it up and you no longer need to speak, please, you can put it down. If not, I'll just go through the room now and unmute everyone who has indicated interest to speak. Mr. MC?
I think Silas is the new hand, fresh hand.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you very much, moderator. And I remove my cap for everyone, especially for Prof. I will say, Prof, Ndewo, Dede, Ewudimpa. Your speech covered everything that I expected to hear and actually preempted what I wanted to say. I thank the group that organized this birthday ceremony in this academic format. Very interesting. I will participate in the future lectures that you guys are organizing. In addition to that, previously, as from May last year, after the May 30th, we decided to have a quarterly event that would be a forum for Igbo history. And Prof was nominated in his absence to be one of the contributors. So, and that would happen because he gave a very exciting and inspiring lecture during that May 30th event. We will still reach out to him and we will probably want to collaborate with what you guys are doing so that we don't overlabor him. He is a treasure to us. In Igbo language, we say, Anahatu Todatu. As you gather and meet with the elders, you learn instantly. There's no other forum. I've learned a few things from him, and we will create forums where we will continue learning from him. That's what I want to say. I'll respond to his speeches. We would want that. We want that to continue. Personally, I would donate $40,000, Naira, to the book launch. I will get in touch with the Prof through Professor Ejiofor on the programs that we have outlined for this year. So thank you very much. I wouldn't hold you guys up, and I wouldn't be rude signing off. I'm in Australia. It's already 4 a.m. and I have a 9 a.m. start. So that's why I eagerly wanted to speak. I've seen a few names there. All of you are my brothers, and we will continue to dine and speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mazi Moneke, and thanks for your beautiful attire also, and for your contribution and support. We really look forward to liaising with you. And just as you said, let's not drag Prof. This is our treasure in different parts. Let's consolidate our efforts. We really look forward to that discussion. Thank you so very much. You have our permission to go rest so that the hustle starts again for you early in the next couple of hours. Thank you. While at it, I want to specially welcome Honorable EKC Ibe. EKC Ibe happens to be running for the presidency of of Nigeria, and we're happy that he's here also with us to celebrate his iconic brother, Professor Chidi Osuagwu.
Thank you very much. If I may use the opportunity for just a few seconds to thank the organizers, and especially to thank Professor Osuagwu. Just like the last speaker said, Mazi Silas Moneke. I haven't just learned a few things from Professor Osuagwu. I've learned a lot of things from Professor Osuagwu, and we'll keep learning. I'm glad to be part of this is a virtual birthday celebrations. I just want to, on behalf of an organization that he and I belong to, of which we are members of the board of trustees, that is Onugo Tobo Foundation, to thank him for his services to humanity and for his services to his community, which I'm part of. And on this is a birthday, we only hope and wish and pray that he will live much, much longer than he has already, so that we'll continue to draw from his wisdom pot. And I am looking forward to the series when they start. We'll all be part of hopefully the planning and organizing, so that his knowledge is something that will be documented for several generations to come, especially our children. Thank you very much.
Thank you, EKC Ibe. And well, this is not the place to ask you how your campaign is doing. This is, we are celebrating.
Another day.
We're celebrating Professor Chidi Osuagwu, our wonderful, brother. Any more responses? Okay, Kristen, I can see your hand all the way from England. Thank you for your support, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mazio Luchi, Mama. And thank you very much, Prof Osuagwu, and congratulations again on your 75th birthday. Thank you for blessing us with such rich words and wisdom. I've not met you before, but I've heard and read about you, and I am honored to be part of this event this evening. And I thank people that have put it together. On behalf of the entire cabinet of Biafra government in exile, I want to wish you well again, and pray that the good Lord will continue to strengthen you and uphold you in everything that you do. And I say, to that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Do we have any other one again who wants to? We have really made great progress today. Thank you so much, everybody. Any other person, Pascal, to speak?
Yeah, I see Ginger Media. Your hand is up. I don't know if it's a still hand or a new one.
I think it's still hand. It's an old.
Okay, it's an old hand. Okay.
Austin Okeke, are you there? From South Africa.
Hello, I'm here, Oluchi.
And Odobu.
It's good. Hello, everyone. Congratulations, Prof. Happy birthday to you. And of course, you know, I won't miss this for anything sake. I want to seize this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation for having Professor Osuagwu in my life. He has been a pillar, an advisor, a father, a mentor. I'm his scholar, you know, I'm forever his scholar. In all the things I do, he's been guiding me through. Even when I started my activism, he was there from the beginning. He helped to prune me and tell me, drop this, pick this, do it this way, say it that way. And it's been an ongoing exercise. I will forever remain his scholar. We, in Igbo land, we actually are gifted. When I came across Prof, his own wisdom and mind is something beyond what I can even describe with words. I have forever stuck with him. You know, I want to do a project. I will first of all invite him and ask him for advice. Prof, I want to do this. He will tell me, okay, do it this, you do. I say, okay, but you are coming along. He doesn't hesitate to do that. That is one good thing about Prof. You know, he takes out time out of his busy schedule to be particular about that which you have invited him for. And he's such a rare gift to humanity, not just Igbo land. His footprint is across the continents, not just African continent. Prof is everywhere. I have had some projects to do with Prof, programs to do with Prof, ongoing one as we speak. You always feel his absence. You know, you always want him there. You know, Prof has to be there. You know, like Brother Silas that spoke earlier said to us, the May 30th anniversary of last year, he was the keynote speaker. He was the main guy. And we will continue to have him on that platform and various other things that pertains to the upliftment of the Igbo nation and Indi Igbo in general. Prof, I want to say thank you very much. It's been an honor to have participated today. We had some 2 days ago. I don't think many of the people here on this platform were present there 2 days ago. So it's an ongoing celebration for you. It will never stop. Every day is your birthday, Prof. You know, so thank you very much. And to launch your book, I have to give in 20,000 naira to launch your book, and I will communicate to you, you know, in respect hereof. Thank you, everyone. May God bless you, Prof.
Thank you, Austin.
Long life and prosperity, Prof.
Amen.
And I also want to thank Igbo Legacy leader. Kelechi is here. Kenny Kelechi Uzoma. I think I saw Kelechi, but I'm sure it must be him.
Yes,
for
it is him.
everything you are doing, Kelechi. Of course, you know, we are pals, we are comrades, we are together in this journey to make the Igbo nation greater than before. And it will, and we shall achieve it in this our present life. Brother Oluchi Ibe, it is a pleasure meeting you, putting a face to your name. I have been reading about you. We have shared notes. You have advised me, and I appreciate you. You have anchored this program so well, beautifully well. I do not expect anything less, though. To our brother Christian Iwuagwu in the UK, today, I'm going to still call you. We are together in this struggle. Pardon me, we have been texting ourselves, but we have an appointment. So on this note, I will leave. And to our brother Ike Sibe, good luck in your campaign. It will be nice to have you as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yes, may God bless you in your ambition, and may God bless our efforts towards realizing the Republic of Biafra or the Igbo nation, as the case may be. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Barrister Austin Okeke, all the way from South Africa, and very leader of the World Global Igbo Leaders of Thought, and a man you can always depend on. And I've been following your works also. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. I know that you've been doing a lot with Prof in the background. Thank you for all that. And we are possibly coming to the end of this great and epic presentation. Also, on the go to EKCB has announced the donation of 50,000 naira, or purchase of 50,000 naira for the book, or launching the book with 50,000 naira on behalf of Onugotu Foundation. And also we have a query from our comrade in Denmark, how if you have a foreign bank account where you can make transfer for what he has played. We're going to advise you on that pretty soon, my comrade Ifani. Ifani also asked a question about how come such a person like Professor Chidi Osuagwu did not emerge the Igbo Ohaneze president. I won't want Austin to answer that. We'll discuss that another time. But I want to tell you, comrade, we fought the fight of our life. And we told the Igbo world, don't miss this chance. But that's a story for another day, So I think if there's no other major outstanding, we may be rounding up, because we live in a virtual world where people hold 24-hour meetings in different forums, so that, and this is the weekend, so that we can all have time to do some other things also. So on that note, I want to call on Pascal to give us closing remarks. Then I also call one of our brothers here, our sister, Chioma, to say the closing prayers. But we are missing something in this entire celebration, which is the breaking of cola. Before this program started, I've had a serious discussion on the idea of virtual breaking of cola, because that's the virtual world where we're living in now. But we'll get to that maybe some other time. So on that note, I call on Pascal to give us a closing remark. And I also want to use this opportunity to thank each one that's been part of this planning. It's taken us a while to get to this point. Dossier, who are practically slept with the printers in a way, how it is, generators, NEPA, all sorts of issues, Ositago, all the way in Enugu, that did the whole of the graphic works for us. Austin Okeke from South Africa, Pascal, who's always addressing the Alaskan State Parliament, but we're able to grab him he put this entire thing practically together, and really want to thank everyone, Legacy Group, that have been so supportive, and Abadaba, the great son of Ubo called Abadaba that lives in Lagos, for being part of this program, Professor Zev, for years. Support that came at the nick of time. Thank you so much. God will keep on blessing you, a great mathematician. We will also celebrate you very, very soon, because we are now in the time of celebrating our own, not just those wayward people out there that are called leaders. It's time for us in this Uganda to start celebrating our true leaders. So I hand over to you, Pascal.
Okay, thank you very much, Chief Anchor for the day, Oluchi. So again, I think you did a little bit of what I was trying to do, just to throw a vote of thanks to everybody. As much as we came in here to celebrate Prof, and the great work he has done to uplift our way of life, our thinking and our philosophy, and our metaphysics and our science. We also would like to thank everyone who has helped to make this happen. So I'll throw those same thanks to you, my brother Oluchi Gerald Ibe, for being tirelessly, focused on us getting this done. Also, thanks to Dozier, of course, you've done a lot of the groundwork, to make this book come to life. Also, all the people who came to help this project happen. I said it in the beginning, and I'll still say it again. Kelechi with Igbo Legacy, I tried, unmuting you, but for some reason I couldn't do that. But I would like to thank the Igbo Legacy Group for stepping up to help make this happen. Peter Anosike, I don't know if he's here, just to thank him as well for ensuring that this project came to life. Professor Zeph Okonkwo, thank you also for stepping in to help us make this happen. And also to thank everyone who has been able to give us, 2.5 precious hours of your time, to be with us today. Like we mentioned earlier, the next steps will be gorgeous, more gorgeous than what we are kind of initiating now. We